Well, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast on the second day of September 2023. Thank you for choosing EBN TV to inform you tonight. We've got quite a lot in store. We'll be taking a look at stories making headlines across the country in all counties. But here are the day's top stories. Azimio la Umoja shifts camp to Western Kenya after Ruto ends 5-day tour as Kotu Chair Rajab Omondi is laid to rest. What's brewing in Meru? Governor, Deputy Governor cannot see eye to eye. All systems go for Africa Climate Summit. Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku supports climate action. Well, I'm the captain of the ship tonight. I'm Cynthia Nanjala. Our SMS line is 23993. You can also reach us out on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. EBN Weekend Edition begins right now. Central Organization Trade Union Secretary General Francis Atwoli was today at the center of a firing squad at the late Kotu Chairman Rajab Mondi's funeral in Vihiga when he was confronted by Azimio leaders in attendance, including Raila Odinga, over remarks he made last Sunday. Atwoli was on the receiving end for his remarks during the interdenominational Thanksgiving and prayer service in Kandui, Bungoma County, where he implored President William Ruto, who was in attendance, to give appointments to quote-unquote idle Azimio leaders to end anti-government protests. Reacting to the Kotu leaders' remarks, Raila said the former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya does not need any appointment from the Kenya Kwanza government, adding that he has immense responsibilities in ODM.
Sisi mara nyingi tumesema wezi na makateli wapelekwe Kamkunji wa Nyungwe ndio wanaharibu uchumi wa Kenya. Sasa hii Ruto ameanza kutumia hiyo lugha, anasema kama wewe ni kateli, wewe ni mwizi, ni jela, ama uhame Kenya, ama uende mbinguni, unaweza kurudi utatea hawa makateli. Bana wanyasa hai. Na huyu mtoto Mkalenjin anaongea lugha wananchi wanataka, na wewe ambao unasema huko na wananchi unakuja kusema hiyo anaongea ni mambo ya uimla. Kenya iko wezi wengi wanataka mtu magaidi, na sisi tutasindikiza, tutasukuma Ruto mpaka waizi wote waondoke nchi hii. Lazima waizi wote watoke. Tutasukuma wewe sisi. We will do it. This country is bigger than all of us.
Jamaa wengine wamekuja hapa ati wanasema wanatuletea maendeleo. Baba, while you are away, hawa wajamaa walikuja kuzindua miradi ya county government ya Vihiga County. Kama ni hospitali zile zilijengwa na Akaranga na Utitiro, hizo ndio wanakuja wanasema wanatuletea maendeleo. Barabara ile walifungua kitambo, Majengo, Gisambai, Hamisi, Shamahoho, hadi sasa wamekuja kufungua mara ya 3.
Mtu anakuja alafu anatisha watu. Anasema ati wewe utahama, nitakuweka wewe jela, au wewe utaenda kwa Mungu. Hiyo nazungumza ina gani? Sasa Kenya hii imekuwa ni yake. Anakuambia wewe toka. Na wewe umezaliwa hapa Kenya hii, ni nchi yako wewe unajua. Mtu anaambia wewe hama. Uhama uende wapi? Halafu hama sivyo akuleke yeye kwa jela. Yeye ndiye anakushtaki wewe na yeye afunga wewe. Tayari amesema nitakupeleka wewe jela. 3, atakupeleka kwa Mungu. Anakusema atakuua. Hii ni utawala aina gani hii? Hii ni Kenya gani hii? Na hiyo vile nasema juzi tumeona vile vijana wetu wapigwa risasi kwa sababu walikuwa wanafanya maandamano. Kwa hiyo tuko katika hali ya hatari katika nchi hii. Tusipojihadhari, Kenya mtajipata mahali ambayo mtu anashikwa namna hii, anatoroka na haonekani.
Still on that particular burial, Azimio leaders led by Raila Odinga were in Vihiga today for the burial of the former Kotu chairman Rajab Mondi. Raila arrived at Kapchemugung Secondary School at noon for the funeral service, accompanied by Wycliffe Oparanya and Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi. The opposition leader's visit to Western Kenya comes barely 2 days after President William Ruto's 5-day development tour in the region. Even though Odinga is in the region to attend some funerals, the visit has political undertones as the opposition leader is expected to address stopover rallies in what is seen as checkmating the president. Odinga was also in Busia and Vihiga counties today. Well, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has sided with Kotu boss Francis Atwoli over his decision to support the Kenya Kwanza government, urging the opposition to move on from the 2022 elections. While speaking during the burial of Kotu Chair Rajab Mondi in Vihiga County, the Prime CS has said Azimio are living in a state of self-denial, saying IEBC commissioners do not determine the elections, but the people of Kenya. Mudavadi has lauded Atwoli for his firm stance supporting the government, asking all Kenyans to do the same.
Atwoli is not living in a state of self-denial. He's very pragmatic. He knows that the election is over and we have to move on. Na yeye amesimama imara, anafanya kazi na serikali, lakini hakosi kutetea mambo ya wafanyikazi. Kwa hivyo wakati watu wanasema namna hii, mimi nashangaa viongozi wa ODM na Azimio. When will it occur to you that the election ended 1 year ago? It is not here anymore. And we must also make it clear that commissioners, IEBC commissioners, do not vote. It is the common voter, the ordinary voter, who votes. Chebukati does not cast a vote. The Cherera Four do not cast a vote. It is not their business to determine who is the president of Kenya. They are merely referees. Those who determine the president of Kenya are the voters of Kenya.
The Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has asked the leaders of 6 counties located in the north of Rift Valley to cooperate with the Department of Security in the country to end cattle theft, which is a persistent problem in those areas. Kindiki has also warned the administrative officers of the national government against laxity in carrying out their duties. Speaking during the operational activities in Cherab sub-county in Isiolo County, Kindiki has instructed senior managers such as regional commissioners to visit localities from time to time to understand operations and ensure that operations continue. Kindiki has also added that officers will be rated according to their performance.
Hii shida ambayo tuko nao katika Isiolo na katika Kenya yetu, tutatatua shida hizi zote. Mambo yote ambao niliahidi na ile mambo ambao viongozi wenu wameomba na waliomba na ile mambo ambao viongozi wenu vile vile wameomba rais, kwa sababu vile vile wanaongea na rais, mambo hayo yote tutatimiza 100%. We will fulfill all the promises we have made for this county and for our country. Nia pana njia. Kwa mfano, nimesema ya kwamba tuko na sehemu nyingi ambazo kuna sub-counties ambazo zilikuwa gazetted lakini bado asijapata budget ya kuwa operational. Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie katika mwaka huu wa fedha za serikali, all the remaining 27 sub-counties that are gazetted and not operational, all of them in the Republic of Kenya will be operational. Magaidi wajue mambo ni mangapi? Sio manne, ni 3. Watafute nchi nyingine, si namna hiyo, waende jela ama ile safari nyingine ya one way. Na hiyo ni amri kutoka amri jeshi mkuu. Na ukisikia hiyo ujue ya kwamba kama wewe uko Kenya hii na unafikiri utatisha serikali ya Kenya kwa kuangaisha wananchi na kuua watu na kuchukua na mifugo yao, siku zako zimehesabiwa.
Meru County Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma says that he shall not resign following a fallout with his boss, Governor Kawira Mwangaza. In his very first address concerning the matter, Mutua says that he will continue to serve the people of Meru from whichever place. This follows the recent move of the Deputy Governor's office from the current Meru County headquarters, where the Governor's office are located, to the old headquarters. He has further vowed not to be silenced anymore, claiming that he had been paying all bills in his office for the past 8 months. He wants President William Ruto to intervene and sort out the differences between him and his boss since the month of April 2023.
Since the month of April 2023, my office secretariat has been reduced to 0 personnel or withdrawn without prior attention brought to me. Number 5, I wish to inform the good people of Meru County that the executive arm of the government, led by Her Excellency Honorable Bishop Faith Kawira Mwangaza, has since allocated the executive office of the Deputy Governor, Operations Kitty. The same has not been remitted to my office since February 2023, and as such, I have been running a public office with my own private money. More so, the official vehicle of the office of the Deputy Governor in the recent past has not been fueled as expected.
Well, apologies. I said Mutua earlier. It is the Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma of Meru County who is having some bit of wrangles with the Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Away from that, the Senate Committee on Education has lashed out at the Ministry of Education over the unfair treatment of special schools over failure to review its capitation fee. At the same time, the committee has also faulted the ministry over rising financial disputes in university admissions and HELB loans, despite having a lion's share in the annual government budget.
One thing we do not want to hear as a committee is any funding proposal that proposes that a parent pays. You heard them say 9,500 for some category of learners with special needs. The national government, through the Budget and Appropriations Committee, has allocated the Minister of Education a whopping 650 billion. So we are telling them they must also see to it that in their internal allocation that they allocate to these learners with special needs.
Some of the equipments used by these learners with disability are very expensive. We are told the braille is around over 100,000. The ministry may need to up their game in terms of taking care of these children.
The government of Kenya has taken upon itself to give the lion's share of budget to the Ministry of Education. But with that allocation, we are still hearing a lot of noise, starting with students from the university. They are not getting their money, and then we are having these needy students. We need the Ministry of Education to do better than they are doing right now.
We don't have any policy of discrimination of any child. Going forward with the adoption of the recommendations of the Working Party, then some of those issues that are coming up will be addressed.
The operation to clean the Nairobi River is estimated to cost 22 billion shillings. This was revealed during a meeting of various stakeholders who aim to use alternative methods such as the conservation and protection of land along the river, as well as involving the 5 counties that the river passes through.
We have set out the parameters for working around these areas, and with your input, we have mapped them out. Then we have the Kiambu sub-region, which extends through Kiambu County and I think parts of Nyandarua, if I'm not wrong, and down through to Machakos County. And again, the rivers and the tributaries have been well mapped, and the areas of monitoring pollution are in place.
We are getting a lot of goodwill support requests from different partners, national and international. So to all of us, the goodwill internally and externally is there. It is for us to pick it.
Catchment protection and restoration, mapping and reclaiming the riparian land, waste to rivers, and here looking at solid waste, sewerage, industrial and institutional waste, and drainage and hydrology. So those are what we are calling the immediate activities to address the pollution to the rivers.
A lot of food production can be done if we avail this river basin for socioeconomic transformation. We do realize that the basin has a lot of potential for employment of our youth.
Now to some dramatic events in Kericho. The body of an 88-year-old man from the village of Kebeneti in the West Kipkelion constituency, who was mistakenly buried in the village of Kiboyet in the Belgut constituency by a different family, has been exhumed a week after his burial. The body of the late Kipkoros Mutai was exhumed after the court gave permission when it was found that it was buried in the place of the late Joel Kipngeni Chumo, aged 94. The exchange of the body happened in the Kericho Siloam Hospital mortuary after the family of the late Chumo, in the process to prepare the funeral of their relatives, to take the body of the late Mutai instead of their relative, the late Chumo.
Kuna yenye tunaitana, tulibadilishana tu mwili kwa Siloam, kwa kimakosa. So tunasema pole kwa hiyo yote imefanyika. Watu wa familia sijui walikuwa wanafanya nini kwa asao. Tunasema pole kwa watu wa huku na watu wa familia, tunasema pole. Imekuwa ni pigo au mshangao mkubwa katika area hii yetu inaitwa Kiboyet, ambapo tuliweza kuletea mwili mwingine badala ya ule mwili ya Chuma ambayo pia bado yuko kwa pale kwa hospitali. It's an issue of identification of two bodies. Looking at the two, they are to a large extent similar.
Kajiado County Governor Joseph Ole Lenku has expressed optimism in Kenya Kwanza government hosting Africa Climate Summit. Kajiado County residents, who are largely pastoralists, occupy about 80% of land mass and is the major source of livelihood for residents. The governor has admitted there are significant effects of climate change on the region and are looking forward to solutions and support to reduce the negative effects.
We are very pleased that preparation for the forthcoming climate summit starting on Monday is already on. We are here for the pre-summit conversation, first around indigenous people, and in a significant way the effect of climate change to them, and support mechanisms to address those negative effects of climate change. This conversation brings together a number of people across the continent of Africa, but also important players as the World Bank and we in the county government space as well. We are happy that as a country we are hosting the climate summit because this provides a critical window not only for identifying problems occasioned by it, but also investment required and resources to address the same. And therefore, the conversation around climate change is on. As a county government, our vision is fully aligned to it. The question of modulated pastoralism in light of climate change, the concerns about the livability of our towns, urbanization in the face of climate change, and very, very important, climate proving the physical environment so that whatever we do has elements and actions to address or to mitigate negative climate change effect.
60 people have been arrested and their equipment confiscated for abusing the lifted moratorium on forest logging. This is according to Forestry Principal Secretary Gitonga Mugambi, who has revealed that the Ministry of Environment and Forestry is working to reverse the court order that suspended logging activities pending the hearing and determination of a case filed by the Law Society of Kenya.
Confiscated a lot of vehicles for the people who have been doing this and equipment like power source. And these are things which are ongoing. But what is more important is that we are giving information. Please, forest area is a no-go zone. If you have nothing to do there, or if you want to go there and carry out illegal activities, stop it, because we will get you and we will prosecute you. Nothing wrong with harvesting, and we need to remove that notion from the people who are just there to say that we should not harvest. Why shouldn't we harvest? And we planted, and we want to harvest and plant again. Yeah, these are our trees.
We are putting to alternative use. This is a Aqualing area, and this school stands on 2 acres with a population of 1,100 students, so the area was not enough.
Tumekuwa na tatizo ya kupeleka watoto shule mbali. Tunatoa mtoto hapa, unasikia ameenda Murang'a. At least we have our own Chaka Secondary, which will make it to be a national school.
The president has an initiative to grow 15 billion trees, of which we are part and parcel to assist the president. And we also talked with the PS that we shall take care of the remaining the remaining trees and also plant more.
Take advantage of these rains and plant trees. We have a target of 15 billion trees to plant in the next 10 years. We have a target of 1.5 billion trees to plant every year. And we should take advantage of these long rains, plant trees, and in it, we will be doing restoration of areas where we have lost trees.
Residents of a trading center in Game constituency in Siaya County are up in arms over the worsening state of security that has seen several shops looted in the last few weeks. The angry locals who brought business in the market to a standstill are demanding a complete overhaul of the police department, alleging collusion with the robbers.
Wavunja store, wameiba vitu zote. Kama pesa wameiba 180,000. Na vitu zenye wamechukua zote almost 500,000.
Wanakuja kila siku. Na tukiripoti hatuoni action. Juzi waliiba huyu mama. Tena ndio tena wamerudi. Na jana ati walikuwa na patrol. Ati wamerudi late kitu saa 8 na ati wamepita hapa wamepata ati mlango ziko wazi. Na siku wamepatrol lazima maduka ziibiwe. Sasa tujui ni nini inaendelea. Nao wanaogopa kusema watu hao wakipatrol wanaibiwa. Sisi tunasema hao wakipatrol maduka zinavunjwa. Tena tunataka tubadilishie mapolisi. Hao maaskari watusaidie. Na wakisikia pombe inapikwa mahali ndio hao. Wakisikia ati mtu akona boza sijui nini hizi ni wanakuja. Sasa wanatusaidia na nini?
Wakati huu maisha ni ngumu sana. Mtu anapojitahidi afanye biashara kidogo angalau aweze kupata kitu, unapata kwamba tena wezi ambao hata tujui wanatoka wapi. Na tukifanya jitihada angalau hata tupate vitu vyao ambao wamepoteza wakati wanafanya hizo shughuli zao za kuiba. Tukipelekea polisi wanatuahidi kwamba wataweza kufanya uchunguzi na wapate mwenye alihusika na watuletee habari. Kwa sasa hata simu yako ukipoteza namba zitapatikana hapo. Tumewahi uliza mbona hata tuambiwi ni mtu aina gani, na serikali iko na mkono mrefu haiwezi kosa kujua wale wenye walikuwa kwa hiyo SIM card.
Principal Secretary for Correctional Services Salome Biako has urged the judiciary to adopt alternative dispute resolution mechanisms as measures to try and decongest prisons in the country. Speaking at Kakamega Main Prison, PS Biako said other mechanisms the judiciary officers can adopt include probation orders and community service orders. She said more than half of the people of Kakamega Main Prison are remandees, as she discouraged recidivism where convicted criminal reoffends. She said the Department of Correctional Services has moved from punishing offenders to rehabilitation, asking stakeholders, both private and in government, to support in providing skills to inmates so that they can start income-generating activities once freed. The PS noted that most inmates have expressed the desire to go back to school and continue with their education, as she asks partners who can support them with school fees to come on board.
We urge you, come on board. We help one another so that these people do not come back. We are trying to discourage recidivism. We are working with judiciary. Yesterday we met some of the judicial officers at the Butali probation office, and we are encouraging them to adopt, to make use of the probation orders, to make use of the community service orders, so that more of our remandees, like here in Kakamega Main, more than half
In fact, double the number of the people in this prison are remandees. It is vitally important that we reduce these numbers so as to decongest the prisons. If we make use of those alternative methods as well as alternative dispute resolution, we will decongest these prisons. We are working very hard to ensure that we provide all the tools for the vocational training. In these prisons, I have seen we are providing training, vocational training in the areas of welding, carpentry, tailoring, and computers.
Siaya Governor James Orengo and the county's Senator Oburu Oginga have criticized President William Ruto for his recent threats to investors in the sugar industry in the country regarding the Mumias Sugar Company. Speaking at Maranda Primary School in Bondo, Siaya, the leaders say that it is very surprising that the president has openly announced his intention to use his power to threaten investors to pursue his interests in the sugar industry at a time when the families of the victims of police brutality during the protests against the government are struggling to come to terms with what happened to their relatives.
Yeah, without shame. And then you say you still want to consign more people to heaven. We take that kindly from a president who should be protecting Kenyans, who should be the protector of the interests of Kenyans, who should be the protector of the Constitution of Kenya. So we don't take that kindly from you, Mr. Honorable or His Excellency Ruto, the President of Kenya.
The continent is very fragile, and this fragility is coming out because of undemocratic practices. If we cannot come together and resolve the national question, people will look for alternatives to make sure that we resolve the national question. So I urge those in Kenya Kwanza to come to the table with an open mind and to make sure that these discussions take place in an environment that will bring peace and prosperity and democracy to our country called Kenya.
County governments have been given a 60-day deadline by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, to provide comprehensive anti-corruption methods, including internal audit performance, in an effort to prevent corruption in the decentralized units. EACC is investigating a total of 21 former and current governors of different offenses and who are linked to various offenses of mismanagement of office and misuse of public property.
Yes, wants Kenyans to understand that the fight against corruption is not just about punishing the individuals who are engaging in it, because it will remove the merchants of graft from an institution and replace them with others. If those systems remain the same, these new ones will find it easy to navigate and maneuver around the weak systems and engage in corruption. For example, the problem and the rot at Nyayo House that is being addressed is partly due to the systemic weaknesses and the loopholes in the operations of that institution. We moved into NHIF because of the same reason, that you cannot sit and wait for people to engage in corruption, then you now set the law in motion to take them to court. By that time, money has already been lost. So that is why an effective strategy must have both components. You focus on ensuring that systems are effective, systems are seamless, and systems are in such a way that they do not leave room for public officials to solicit for money from citizens. And because investigations sometimes do take time, because the law requires that after investigations you have taken the file to the DPP, who will also have time with it before it finally gets to the court. EACC is now contemporaneously working with institutions to strengthen their systems as investigations continue. That will help us in many ways. Number one, to seal those systemic loopholes that allow corrupt people to engage in corruption. And secondly, if those systems are effective and efficient, Even those Kenyans who sometimes initiate corruption because they want shortcuts, because they want quick service, sometimes for very good reasons, they will not have reasons to do that. If you go to an organization and you find that the systems are working, even the temptation to get a shortcut, or the temptation to look for some other way, the temptation to, find out who can assist you, will not be there.
Police in Mugudha, Juja in Kiambu County have seized illegal alcohol and other fake products worth 400,000 shillings in one factory. The stickers of the tax collection board believed to be used to avoid paying taxes were also found in the search, which was led by the police commander in Kiambu County, Paminas Kioi, after receiving information from the local people.
And I want to give a very, very stern warning to these Mburiwas. You see now what they have done. They have moved from the market. They are doing it within the houses, the residential house, because like this one, it was in a four-bedroom house. And in Mugudha, it has become rampant because this is the fifth case now. Okay, those who are caught within, the ones who are within the compound, they were able to jump through the randa, but we are following them. We want to know who is the owner of that house, and also he should be able to tell us who and rent in this house and who owns this business. And it's also my cry even to the government, if all these houses could be confiscated to the state, because how comes that somebody will rent a house which is being used for illegal activities? To the members of public, I want to caution them, because when you look at this, it is just a poisonous drinks. It's very poisonous because you don't know what is the mixture. And when it goes to the market there, you cannot differentiate the original drink and also this type of.
In the world of sports, President William Ruto on Saturday hosted Budapest World Athletics gold medalists Faith Kipyegon and Mary Moraa at State House in Nairobi. Kipyegon scooped 2 gold medals in her specialty races of 1,500 meter and 5,000 meter, while Moraa was crowned winner in females 800 meter race during the World Championships in Hungary. Present during the State House visit was the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Ruto said in 2024 the government will support a residential camp for the Kenyan team that will represent the country in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. The president on Friday during the launch of the Talanta Hela termed Kipyegon and Moraa as great assets to the country. Well, that is where we wrap it up tonight. Thank you so much for your valuable company. We hope that you're up to date with the latest on what is making headlines across the country. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. I'd love to wish you a fantastic night. Have a blessed Sunday ahead.